Darlene will leave it. Skinner on the ice now. He'll take it behind the net. Jeff Skinner on the far side. Darlene overlaps, leaves it in the corner. Middlestat holds it, scores! Casey Middlestat! As the entire team comes down to congratulate Craig Anderson on what may very well be his final game in the National Hockey League.
Well, what a close. What a close to the home schedule, folks. What a touching ending. For me, it's perfect, you know. And guys, just so you know, if we win tomorrow, we finish 1 point out of the playoffs when it's all said and done. I look at it, guys, like it just wasn't in the cards. We're good enough to be in the playoffs. It wasn't in the cards for a reason. And that reason could be on a night in Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final in 4 years from now that we feed off of this experience. Just leaving that out there, okay? I'm so happy for Anderson. I was worried tonight. I was thinking of Tage a lot tonight too, hoping he'd get 2 goals going into the last game with a shot for 50. But the truth is, this was a little more important tonight, you know? This was a little more important. I think the secret's out. He's retiring. You know, you could just tell. I mean, and you know what? Kudos to the Senators. You know, that's why I'm not really going to pick on them because they showed a lot of class, even coming out of their dressing room to come give the guy a hug. You know, even though they weren't teammates with him, some of them. You know, it was a really classy thing by the Senators where. Of course, he'll be remembered as a Senator, you know, but he loved his time in Buffalo. And you guys might remember a few years ago when we first got him, you guys are pulling your hair out, some of you, saying, oh my God, why did we get this guy? He's washed up. I was kind of open-minded to it because he was consistent his whole career. Yeah, he didn't play much the year before, but he, you know, what did he play, 4 games a year before or something? I was open-minded to it. But if you would have told me it would have turned out this good 2 years later, I never would have believed you. Honestly. I mean, this guy gave us his heart and soul the best he could for 2 seasons in his 40s, you know? And he was a positive influence on the kids. He's a part of the reason, guys, that losing culture is gone in our dressing room. Craig Anderson is part of that reason. He is. All right, I don't want to go on too much about that. We'll talk about that in a sec. Let's look at the numbers. Okay, Sabres 36-33 shots on goal. Face-offs, the Sabres get slaughtered again, 63-38. 1 for 3 in the power play for the Senators, 1 for 4 for the Sabres. They had 33 hits, folks. We had 10. Doesn't that close out the home schedule on a proper note, if you think about it? They had 15 blocks. We had 11, 8 giveaways apiece. Shots on goal per period. First period, 12-11 Sabres. Second period, 13-12 Sabres, and 10 apiece in the third, and the 1 shot in overtime, Casey Middlestat, remains hot. Scoring? Jokiharju scores again. My goodness. Jokiharju scores again from Middlestat and Skinner. Olofsson gets one. Might be his last goal as a Sabre, folks. It just might be. Olofsson gets one from Okposo and Girgensons, and then Stützle, Granville, and Giroux. You know, if you would have told me Claude Giroux was going to have this good of a season this year, I would have said you're absolutely crazy. I just didn't think Giroux had this in him to be this good this year. I really didn't, so my bad there. All right, so 3-2 Ottawa after a crazy second period. Going into the third, Tage, a ripper at the 3:03 mark on the power play. Tage looked like Tage in certain parts of this game. Does he have a hat trick in him, folks? Wouldn't that be the Cinderella close to the season since we're not in? We'll see tomorrow. And Tage scores his 47th, 3-3. And then the overtime winner by Middlestat. And Middlestat is going around to hug somebody, and there's nobody there after he scores. They're all running to Anderson. It was perfect. It was perfect. Middlestat's like, oh yeah, like, you know, it was almost cute actually, you know. So, guys, I'm just really proud of the Buffalo fan base, the way you sent him off. Good for you. My goodness, if you were there, I hope you took videos of it with your phone. You know, it was just such a perfect send off. You know, his family was there, and it was fan appreciation night. It was just a perfect scenario, and it happened. It closed perfect. Guys, if you look at today, the way everything closed out, tell me this isn't a sign of where this franchise is headed. I know we're out, but tell me that's not a sign. All of how we're feeling tonight. We're feeling, guys, like as good as if we made the playoffs right now. You know, we're feeling that good. This team is they're gonna be special. And you know what? Tomorrow, for the first time all year, they can finish the season 9 games over 500, which I'm pretty sure I'm right saying this, they have not been 9 games over 500 the entire season. So the Sabres seem to have a flair for the dramatic this year, guys, except getting in. And we didn't get in because we choked. We didn't get in because it wasn't meant to be. Really, I honestly look at it that way. I've watched hockey long enough where I've given up on that thing where I look back at a game this year and a moment this year. I told you guys during the year I would do that because I was in the moment then. But now when I look back at the season now, the way I seen it close today in Buffalo, and I seen the class the fans had to stand there and give this guy a standing ovation, thanking him for how he helped bring this young team along the last 2 years. And, you know, he said it best, Anderson. He said when he first got there, it was just a team. He didn't say that had a losing culture, if you notice. He didn't say that. What he said, it was a team that just didn't know where they were going. If you tell me that's not a close bunch, I don't know what is. My goodness, you know, that might be the one team in this year. I even want to thank the outside fans for once. And I never do that. You guys know that. But my goodness, I'm seeing on the internet how many fans were cheering for the Sabres to get in this year. I told you guys this a while ago, I believe, you know, in videos. You watch how the fans that say that they're the shit show of the NHL, if we turn things around and we have a chance to get in, the whole NHL will be cheering us on. And it's just the way hockey fans are, guys. Who doesn't like the underdog, right? I mean, everybody wanted to see the Sabres finally end this slump and get in. But, you know, guys, I just got a sneaky suspicion next year we're not going to have to worry. We're just going to get in. You know, like that's kind of how I feel. And I don't want to be overconfident. That's not a good thing either. But it's just kind of how I feel about this team next year. I think this team next year can just kind of coast right into the playoffs. If everything kind of goes smooth and, you know, we help the kids that transition into the NHL next year, you know. And I fully expect to see Kulich and Savoy. I don't think Rosen will be ready. There's certain players I don't think will be ready. You don't got to play AHL to be ready. You know, you just got to be talented enough to be ready. And I got a feeling that the amount of games and series that Savoy is going to play in this playoffs is really going to prep him to cut the NHL squad next year. That's just my feel there. Kulich, as we know, is the real deal, it seems like, so far. And guys, I will be checking in on the Amerks. I'll be following it here on the channel. I'll be reporting on it best I can and try to get you guys clips, whatever. I don't care if it monetizes the video or not. I don't give a damn about that. It's not about money for me, this whole thing. It is to, like, I appreciate that it is important that I make something from it where it covers my internet, you know, kind of thing. I don't live off this, you know. It's just not my livelihood. It's you know, it would be nice if it became, let's say, half of my livelihood. That would be nice, but realistically, I don't know. I don't know if that's even in the cards. I don't care. I love doing this. I love talking to you guys. I love talking about this team, this franchise. And I'm pumped up tonight, guys. I am pumped up tonight. I'm feeling good about the Buffalo Sabres. Only the Sabres could make me feel this good. Really, this year. Like, there's something about this team. I just love this team. I loved watching how it looked like we won Game 7 in overtime, the way they were acting on the ice. You guys seen it. It was magical. It was respectful. They showed respect, you know, to the forefathers of the league before these guys came in. You know, they have that respect about them. You know, this is What Granato and Adams are doing is very smart, guys. They're getting character players in that dressing room. It's not just always about talent, okay? This is why I'm hesitant on a guy like Patrick Kane, okay? I am. I'd be hesitant to get a guy like that on this team because we know there's been off-ice drama with him before, and I didn't like the reaction of him whining and complaining. The Rangers didn't pick him before Tarasenko. There's just things about certain players that rub me the wrong way that, for me, is warning signs that, no. You're not too big for the league when you're 35. You should be just grateful you're still playing in the league at that point, you know? So I'm happy with it all, guys. This was really just a nice send-off for Anderson. And for me, that's so important that we did it the right way, you know. And it's funny, we're sending off like RJ last year, middle stat scores. We're sending off Anderson this year, middle stat scores, overtime, you know, like, tell me there's not something magical here, guys. When this team gets in the playoffs, their first time they could go deep, I believe. I really do. Because we're getting prepared ahead of time for these battles, I believe, with stuff like this, moments like tonight, this push down the stretch, 8-2-1. We're probably going to be 9-2-1 if we win tomorrow. Down the stretch, you know, and we're going to look back at it this summer that we finished 1 point out of the playoffs. If we win, we haven't won yet. I suspect they will, but we have not won yet. No, they got to go out there, play the game. You can bet that the Jackets are going to try to win in front of their home fans. They're going to try everything they can to beat us in this game. They want to close the season on a high note also, but I just think there's something more special going on with our bunch, you know, and that even though it's on the road, and I think we're going to close out the road. Isn't it going to tie our team record for wins on the road, if I'm right? Is it? I think I'm right saying that, guys. But anyway, I better close it up. I'm going on way too long with this video. I'm just so hyped, man. Wow, they made me feel so good just a short few days later after, you know, being down, it was over. And, you know, and here we are just a few days later, and they give us a high like this tonight, a memory like this. We're never going to forget this, what we just seen tonight, you know? And Casey Middlestat, folks, is, you know, me talking about trading him, I was way off. Because this guy not only showed up, when he scored, he didn't even raise a stick, if you notice. I mean, his confidence level is like this down the stretch. I can't wait to see this team get another year older next year. I really can't wait to see this, how we're going to develop next year, you know. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. I've yacked enough. I think we got a visitor. Rosie, did you want to come in? I think she's hiding in the closet, guys. Oh, here she comes. Come on, Rosie. Come on. Come on. There she comes. Yes, here she comes. Give me a Rosie. Rome's out playing, guys. And I don't want Rome rubbing it into the Senators tonight anyway. We're going to just let Senators deserve some respect tonight after the way they stayed on the ice and gave Anderson hugs. And Rosie's very happy. You're happy about it all night? She says, I'd be happy if you get me out and get off these stupid videos. That's where I'll be happy. So, guys, enjoy the night. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the pregame, and we'll try to hopefully close the season out on a high note as the Sabres can jump over the Penguins also tomorrow in the standings. I know it's not good for the draft, but at this point, guys, the way I see it, if we do the right things will happen. Maybe the team that finishes where the Sabres finish will win one of the lotteries, is meant to win one of the lotteries also at 1.5% or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So the tanking mentality, no thanks. Where are you? Okay, you're going out. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.